All right, voices for radio, faces for TV. It's Taylor Danforth, Andy Bunker and Danforth, 6 to 9 a.m. on Rip City Radio. It's up in lights.
That's impressive. Thank you.
That looks really good.
We broke out the big guns today. Talking Blazers, obviously, season came to an end this weekend, but my goodness, that was the tightest of 5-game series that we've seen, I think, in NBA history.
It was one of the more fun series we've seen in NBA, at least from a Blazers fan standpoint, and that was the weird thing about when Game 5 was over. It didn't feel like they just lost. It was like it was the most celebrating that we've had as fans, and even on the radio from listeners that we had. It didn't feel like they had lost the game or the series for that matter.
Yeah,
it's not very often that a season ends and you don't win a championship and you feel that optimistic, right? Like usually you're bummed out, and you were bummed out when the Blazers didn't beat the Warriors, obviously. But when a season ends, generally it's sad. And while it is a little bit, I think there's just so much more positivity and optimism heading into this offseason, given what they were able to do not only against the Warriors, but for the entirety of the season, and just exceeding expectation after expectation after expectation, where we came in Thursday morning and all anybody wanted to talk about was how proud they were of the team.
Sure.
And that's appropriate. That's exactly the way that everyone should have felt. It doesn't happen like that very often.
Yeah, to me, I think it's like the most beloved Blazer team we've seen in 20-plus years. I mean, they're void of knuckleheads. There's no knuckleheads on the team. It's hard not to pull for Dame, this being his first year as the guy. He is such a great guy to deal with. You guys have C.J. McCollum on his own radio show every Friday morning with you guys as well. They're such a great team to enjoy, watch, and grow, and be so young and be so counted out. The never doubt thing, don't listen to they. That works for them. It's kind of like a Seahawk thing, too. You know, like the not undrafted necessarily, but the low-round picks, nobody counts on you, and then you keep that chip on your shoulder. Can you keep that chip on your shoulder?
And something that they do really, really well is they embrace Portland. When we had CJ on our show on Friday, he said he's staying in Portland, and they talked about that, and Dame on the plane ride home talked about that he was worried that guys wouldn't be engaged and that they would start to get those compliments and not be as motivated. But they're really, really smart. Dame and CJ both are, and the entire team really. They're really, really smart about embracing Portland, and that goes a long way with fans. Again, 20-plus years, I think they have the chance to be the most beloved Blazer team ever. They got to have the results to back that up. But the way they embrace Portland is unlike any Portland team that we've ever seen.
And, you know, we obviously care a lot more about what we think here, and the pride that came out of that series in this season is important. But I think it's also worth talking about the amount of national respect that they got from that Warriors series as well. You know, when that game was going on Wednesday night, and then the immediate aftermath, and even since then, the conversation about the future of this Blazers team, not just here in Portland, but among the national NBA writers and just fans of basketball in general, has been really positive as well. And that's important because coming into this season, there wasn't a lot of conversation about what this team was going to do. And as we head on into the offseason and talk about free agency and the potential of bringing people in here, that respect that they got in that 5-game series against Golden State could go a long way.
Yeah, I mean, Neil's got about $45 million to play with, depending on how he deals with his own guys. You know, obviously Gerald Henderson, Chris Kaman, some expiring contracts. You're going to have to pay Allen Crabbe. Somebody's going to pay Allen Crabbe. He's a restricted free agent. Same deal with Mo Harkless. I think we can all agree that you'd like to have Mo back as well. Myers Leonard, that's maybe the one that's up in the air, but you'd think NBA terms, somebody's going to probably throw some big bucks at a 7-footer.
I would think so, probably. You know, but he's got the option as to whether or not he wants to sign that offer sheet. And I don't know. He's a weird guy. He seems very loyal.
Cool dog, though.
Oh, he's yes.
Bella, come on.
Gorgeous dog. And it seems like a good guy, too. You know, a nice guy. And there's something about him. Maybe the fact that he bet on himself early last year and didn't sign the contract that was reportedly offered him by the team. Or, I don't know, I just get a vibe from Myers Leonard that he feels like he's got unfinished business here. So while maybe somebody offers him a contract, it's up to him as to whether or not he signs it. And if he doesn't, I could see him being back here.
The important thing in free agency, too, is they are so far ahead of where we thought that they would be that Neil O'Shea came into this season with a plan, a long-term plan, and that got lost, and rightfully so, in all the success. But he knows not only this year's free agency, but if he doesn't bring Myers Leonard back or doesn't bring Gerald Henderson back, what the free agent class looks like in 2 or 3 years down the road, because there's still a good window there for them to go out and get free agents. So I expect them to keep Harkless and Crabbe. Myers is a question mark, and then I think Henderson's probably gone.
Yeah, and you look at what he's done too. So I know you guys have had the talk on the radio as well. Is a guy like Dwight Howard a fit? Is a guy like Al Horford a fit? I mean, even, you know, Dame in the X interviews and all those guys talked about, like, not saying they're not going to take on any knuckleheads, but it's not me first, it's team first with the guys that are here, and they've all bought in. You look at Ed Davis, look at Mason Plumlee, look at Al-Farouq Aminu. So many guys that came in this year had something to prove, and they proved it being a collective unit. Yeah,
these are going to be really fun conversations for the entire summer, right? I mean,
that's what Sports Talk Radio is about, baby.
Right, and they've given us this amazing sort of just array of options to argue about, really. But you know that they need a post guy. They need somebody down low that they can throw it to on offense, and they can get some points. They scored the least amount of points in NBA history ever. In NBA history, from the post position this season.
Just stats.
You know that they, I'm just real facts here. Yeah. You know that they need to improve on that. There's guys out there that can do that. I'm a lot less interested in Dwight Howard than other people are. Yeah. I think not only is there a big question mark with the personality, but he's also not young, nor is he all that. He's not what he used to be physically. That's what I'll say. And when you sort of have the lost level of ability added with the question marks personality-wise, I think it's too big of a risk.
I agree. I think hands off.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm much more worried about him playing than I am his personality. I'm not worried about. At some point they're gonna have to take on personalities that don't quite fit in. That's just the nature of the NBA. They were really lucky with lightning in a bottle this year in terms of personalities. That just doesn't happen that often. But if you have Coach Stotts on a long-term deal, which they should sign him this week, and Damian there, you should be able to take on bad personalities. So I think like a guy like DeMarcus Cousins makes a lot of sense down the road. I would try and target him in a couple of years more than I would taking a chance on Dwight Howard. And it's not because of his personality. It's because I just don't think he can play to the level that the Blazers need him to with his back problems. But they're going to have to take risks on guys' personalities if they want to get to that level, a championship level.
Yeah, so down to the Final Four now. So we got Cavs, Raptors. We got Warriors, Thunder. Andy, I know you can't root for the Zombie Sonics. I'm with you in that regard. I think it's Golden State, and then they sweep Cleveland in the finals.
So you think a sweep?
Sure.
Really? You don't think LeBron got a game last year with nobody around him?
Sweep.
I think he got 2 games last year with nobody around him.
Close it out.
That's a bold prediction.
Let's do it. That's what we do on Sunday nights at 11:20.
Wow.
Save that tape.
I think the Warriors are going to win the championship. I don't think they're going to sweep in the final. I think they'll get the. I think the Thunder series is going to be fun.
No doubt.
I think it's going to be really fun. No, I'm with you. I'm not rooting for the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I never will. I can't physically bring myself to even say their name, really. I think the Warriors
don't want
get
Starbucks
them.
either.
No, not drinking Starbucks. We're not doing any of that.
Yeah.
I think the Warriors get them in 6. I think the Warriors-Cavs is going to be a good series, though. With everybody healthy. We always forget about how good LeBron is during the regular season. And then the playoffs come back around and, oh, yeah, they're just sweeping everybody because LeBron's ridiculous. I think the finals are going to be fun.
Okay.
But I think the Warriors.
I was feeling cocky.
I think the Warriors get it, though.
LeBron's going to get a ring. I think they beat the Warriors.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Right.
The Warriors are going to have to play a 6 or a 7 game series to beat the Thunder. And the Cavs are going to be able to beat the Raptors in 5.
No doubt.
They've breezed through 8-0 so far. The Raptors just got done beating the Heat in a 7-game series today. The Raptors are going to be tired. The Cavs are going to be able to dispose of them. And it's just going to be a matter of the Cavs are more rested and LeBron's on a mission. So I think the Cavs win that in the it'll be Cavs-Warriors. Cavs win in 6.
Okay. And, when Woj tweets it out, Wojbomb, it's all straight facts. Nate McMillan had been on the staff of Frank Vogel in Indiana for the last 3 years. Mac 10's going to get that gig and finally get his due back in the NBA to be a lead dog.
I mean,
I don't get it.
Good for him.
I don't get it at all.
I like him as a guy. I'm happy that he's got a job. I don't understand the decision at all by Indiana. Like, Frank Vogel had success there. I realize Larry Bird wants to shake things up and all that, but I don't know. Good luck to him. I don't think it's a great move by the Pacers.
Well, in this version of the NBA, you have to be offensive minded, and you can have defensive specialists for sure come in and help you tweak things, or you can either be a defensive specialist and you've got to have a guy like Rick Carlisle did with Terry Stotts in Dallas. But Nate McMillan runs a very, very slow-paced style of basketball, which is what Frank Vogel did. I just don't think he's fit for this NBA. I really don't.
Snoring, by the way.
I heard it.
Yeah.
I got it. I think their new nickname could be Indiana Slow Down the Pacers.
Slow pace.
Get it?
Put that on the shirt.
Slow?
Yeah, put that on a shirt. You know, last week when we booked you guys to come on, the Mariners were flying high. They were in first place, and then the lowly Angels and broke down Angels come in, they sweep them. I know you were up at Safeco on Friday.
Yeah.
Did we jump in on the bandwagon too quick? Or I know baseball's a long season too. My goodness,
long
I know.
season.
I don't want him to be a jinx. I said on the show on Friday he was going up to watch the game, and I said, look, man, I don't want you to be responsible for going up and watching a game, and then the Mariners going on a little bit of a slide here. That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
I blame myself.
Yeah.
Steve Cishek blows a save on Friday night in front of me after the Mariners were up 5-1, and then he comes out Saturday night and does the same thing, blows another save on Saturday night after a great comeback. And then they get blanked today with Felix on the mound, which generally happens when Felix is on the mound.
8 innings, 1 run, sure.
Yeah, swept. So, again, I apologize to all Mariners fans out there because it's my fault. I'm a bad luck charm, and I was in the stadium on Friday night, and my juju wore off on the team, and the season's probably over now. So there's always next year, right?
Yep. There always is. Bunker and Danforth tomorrow morning, 6 to 9 a.m. on 620 Rip City Radio. We always appreciate you guys coming in and dressing up.
Yeah.
Because I know
That's right.
We don't know what you look like on the radio, but I
just
have
like
an idea.
this.
No clothes.
Just like this.
like
really well dressed every day.
Oregon Sports Final rolls on after this.
You're watching Oregon Sports Final, your complete look at sports in the Northwest. First, live, local.